You're listening to the Lux Life Discovered podcast, where we talk with people who are living a lifestyle that reflects their passion, because we believe everyone should be living their best life, their Lux Life. The show is hosted by Rick Steiner with Steiner Event Group, a premier national event planning company. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notifications of future episodes. The show is produced by 30A Media and is broadcast on your favorite podcast outlets, as well as YouTube, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TVs, and other major brand smart TVs.
Hello, I'm Rick Steiner. Welcome to Lux Life Discovered. My guest today is Haley Sipes. So Haley, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, you're welcome. Glad you're here. So you've been very busy it seems like it's been a short period of time, but it hasn't been in some ways. And so kind of give us a little bit about your fitness journey, and then we'll start with that, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Okay. So, first of all, I'm Haley and I have 3 kids and I had them in like 6 years. And so for a big chunk of my life, it was like motherhood and I put myself on the back burner. And so that's kind of where my fitness journey begins, is because when I was done having my 3rd kid, I was like, okay, I need to remember to focus on me a little bit and like try to find my health. And I had gained over 100 pounds through all of my pregnancies. And so with my last one, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to focus on me. I made a goal to lose 100 pounds and to just find my fitness again, and just whatever that meant, to really just fight for my health and to be the best version of myself. And that was 3 years ago. And this last week I hit my goal of losing 100 pounds. So it's taken a little bit. There's been lots of ups and downs, but, it's just taught me a whole lot about how the journey is just as important as the destinations sometimes. And what you learn along the way can be just as helpful as, getting to that final goal. And now I'm just kind of figuring out what life looks like next.
Well, and you've done a great job of documenting your journey through social media.
Yes.
And so has that added more pressure to what you're doing?
Yes, that's a great question. So whenever I'd lost 75 pounds and I was like a year in, I decided to share it and start like a TikTok account about it. And so I really wanted to start doing it just to like encourage other people and to support other people, because every now and then you see people who lose large amounts of weight, but to have the goal of like 100 pounds, I just wanted to like show that if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I wanted to really encourage people along the way. And it ended up being so helpful for me because it was a little bit of pressure, but a lot more of accountability. I quickly like had a platform, and I have like almost 67,000 followers now, which isn't a ton in the grand scheme of things, but man, it's like really neat to have people and have a community of people who like check in on you and who follow you and who you can share things with. So it has added some pressure to it, but it's been good pressure. I think that it's been really helpful for the accountability aspect for sure.
Well, that's good. And you've been very honest in your journey. I think there may have been a time or two where you didn't reach the goal that you wanted. And, it'd been easier to say, I'm just not going to post about that. But you've been very transparent with this whole process.
Yes, I really think that transparency is one of the most important aspects of sharing anything online, because social media can be such a hard place to find yourself if you're comparing yourself or you're on your own journey and you're looking at someone and they're not being honest about what they're doing in their journey and you're comparing yourself. I never wanted anyone to think that either this is easier than it was. I've always said, this is so hard, and it's not like I'm loving this. It's not like I'm enjoying some of this. There would be days where I didn't want to go to the gym and I would say, hey, I don't want to go today, because I don't want anyone to look at my account and say like, oh, she has it easy. What's wrong with me? I don't want to go, stuff like that. There were plenty of days that I didn't have any motivation, and I think that it helped to share that so that people who also didn't have motivation didn't feel alone in that. So it's been really neat. And about 7 months ago, I started using a GLP-1, and I also wanted to be 100% honest about that too. So as soon as I made the doctor's appointment and started talking about it with my provider, I shared that too, because I wanted people to know like this journey is going to be very transparent every step of the way. And I think that's been really helpful too.
Oh, definitely. So I know you've had your share of the people that have definitely appreciated the transparency and everything you're doing. What about the flip side of it? Have you seen that also?
Yes, definitely. There's been my fair share of comments and haters, I guess you could say. And honestly, I'm the type of person that it like just fuels me. I'm like, good, I need more reason to get on the treadmill today. So it was fine. I have an incredibly awesome support system. Rick, you know my parents personally, so you know that they are great cheerleaders. And my husband has always been such a good support system. So thankfully, their voices are loud enough that I don't listen to the haters, and I don't have to, because the people who cheer me on are 100% more loud, and I don't have to worry about the rest. But there definitely have been my fair share of some just funny comments and some mean comments. But I always remind myself that if they were doing better than me, then they wouldn't be leaving mean comments.
Yeah.
So
Anytime you have haters like that, that means you're doing something right.
that's right.
They can't do what you're doing. So
That's
but
right.
you brought out a good point in the beginning. You had your children, motherhood was your focus, and you kind of lost yourself in the process. And to some people that may sound bad, but it is true, because it's not like you neglected motherhood, but you kind of neglected yourself a little bit. And you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of everybody else. So kind of talk more about that part of it.
Sure. No, I totally agree. And I think that it's so easy for moms to get caught up in being, taking care of this newborn baby or the toddler years. It's just like every year you feel like, can it get harder? And then you're like potty training and you're like, how the heck is it still harder than, feeding every 2 hours? And it's just more difficult in different ways. And I just kept finding myself like thinking, oh, well, when we get out of this stage, it'll be easier to go to the gym or easier to eat better. And then I realized that, my oldest was 6 years old, and for 6 years I'd been making excuses. And I knew that the next 6 years was going to be the same if I continued to make excuses and continued to, just not put myself first. And I owed it to my kids and my husband. I owed it to them to be the best version of myself. And I wanted to really enjoy their childhood and be able to play with them. And so I kind of had to have some tough love with myself and say, it's time to stop making the excuses of motherhood or, whatever it was, life, and just suck it up and be the best mom I can be.
Yeah. I understand that. I'm 65, and it's just like going to the gym. It's like, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, my Mondays have come and gone so many months, it's unreal. So, I get that, but to be your age and have the children, the husband, the everything, that is a lot. So, and you've also, in addition to your parents being great supporters of Cody, your husband, he is, of course, but what about with your children even? So what difference have they seen in mom?
Yeah, that's been so fun. And probably one of the best parts too is like when that first summer after I had lost like 50 pounds, I got on the trampoline with them and they looked at me like, oh my gosh, mom can play too. And from then on out, there was just so many more memories of me being able to coach soccer for them and run up and down the field, and me just being able to like hang with them, and this a couple weeks ago, we went to my parents' house and the kids all got skippets, and it's like that, where you like have to kick the ball around your leg.
I thought about
yeah.
that in years.
So we had a skip it competition and I won, and I was like, yeah, I'm very competitive, and it was just so funny that I was, can't imagine. And it was so fun that I get to like, enjoy motherhood and enjoy this part of their childhood with them. Like this is, we're each just doing this for the first time. This is both, our time to just learn as we go, me and the kids. And I'm just so glad that I get to do that. And I can tell that they can tell that I'm happier and that I have more energy. And I just feel like it comes from the inside out. When you really put your health first and you are proud of yourself and you're accomplishing goals, whatever they may be, that shows from the inside out when you're when you're really like working towards something and you find that pride in yourself. And I know that they can tell that just on how I live my life every day.
Yeah, well, good. And then also you've got a great support of other young women in Murray that you really kind of connected with too at the gym, right?
Yes, yes. So, I've done all. I feel like I've done it all. I've done all kinds of fitness plans and journeys and gyms, and but I think that one thing that always helps me is to have a group. And I know that not everyone is a group fitness person, but it encourages me so much to be able to work out next to someone. It pushes me. I am competitive, like I said earlier. So when somebody goes up in weight, makes me want to go up in weight. When someone's working extra hard, it makes me want to work extra hard. And it also helps whenever you don't
goes
show
up
up.
in weight with the weights, not with weight. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
People are thinking, okay, well, I thought she said she just lost all this weight.
Yeah, sorry, I should clarify. When they go up in dumbbells.
Right.
That's right. When they whenever we're like hitting those goals, it's so much better when you can do it with other people. And I missed last week because my husband had some work stuff and they were texting me, "Where are you?" I'm like, that's the accountability I need in my life. So
Right.
that thankfully I've got a good group. I take a boot camp class in Benton now and I just love it so much. So it's been really great.
Well, good. So tell me about I would kind of refer to you as an influencer because you are in many ways. And so 67,000 followers, that's not, a small number. So how does that part kind of motivate you also? Because you get the like we said, the good, but you also get the people that aren't scared to the keyboard warriors who can accomplish nothing on their own, is the way I look at it. So how do you deal with that and have the thick skin?
Oh man. Well, some days are better than others. Some days I have really thick skin and some days it honestly does affect me. Like there are plenty of times where I've gotten a comment and I've been like, is there any truth to this? But a lot of times there's not. And a lot of times they don't know me. And so I have to remember that and I have to like lean on my support systems for that too. And a lot of times it just makes it so much more fun. And I never realized that. I'm a very social person. I've been in that way my whole entire life. I'm sure Rick can attest to that. I've always been a social butterfly. And so to be able to share my journey with other people has been the most fun thing ever. And every time I would weigh in, every time I would, reach a goal, every time I would do anything, to be able to share it with other people and then in turn them share with me. I can't tell you how many messages I've gotten. It's like, I hit my goal today, or I'm 10 pounds down because of, your encouragement or whatever. And I'm just like, it makes it so fun and so sweet to celebrate with other people and encourage them. And, it's like, it's so much better than just stepping on the scale and seeing a number and being like, okay. And then I get to go and sit and record and tell 67,000 people that. Like, that's so fun. It's really fun.
So what was the feeling when you hit the 100,000? I mean, 100,000 is the 100-pound mark. And you finally did it. So what? I can't even imagine. So yeah.
Yeah, it was surreal. It was surreal. There were so many times that I just didn't think I would do it because it did take me 3 years. There was a lot of ups and downs. And I went through a time where I had lost 75 pounds, then gained back 30 pounds. And like, it was not all, easy. It was not point A to point B. There were lots of different things in between, but they taught me so much so that when I finally hit my goal, I was like, okay, like I've really earned it, like I've been through the trenches to be here. And it felt really good. It felt so good to see it and just to be able to say like, I did that, and there's not many times in my life that I've set goals so high that it's taken that much work. I think that, a lot of times, even in adulthood, we prefer the easy way, or we don't set really big goals because we're afraid of failure. I know that's true in my own life. And so when I did hit that goal, I was like, wow, like this is what it feels like to hit a goal that, took a long time and took a lot of work. And I could have quit 2 years ago, but I didn't. And it felt so good. Really, really good.
And that brings up a good point. And I'm guilty of this too. And you and I are like in this respect that we set goals, we want them accomplished, but we want them accomplished right away. And
Yeah.
I'm not a patient person. So, I think that's where a lot of people lose the mark in a fitness
Mhm.
journey, whether it's weight loss, trying to just better yourself, because
Mhm.
we always want it quicker than we should. And it's a
Yes.
journey. It's not point A to point B, like you said. There's life in there, and you have to really buckle down and just know where your focus is and get that in your goal, because it's not going to be like, okay, I'm going to lose 25 pounds and there's not going to be any problems, any issues. There's no life things that are going to happen to throw me off. It's just going to be perfect, and that's
Mhm.
not reality.
No, not at all. And I think that's probably the hardest part, is to have the patience, to have those days where you just keep going, even though you don't see much of a change. And, there's like that paper towel theory, where if you take off one paper towel, you like hardly see a difference in the roll. But like, as you continue to take off more paper towels, like eventually the roll is going to be gone.
Right.
And that's kind of like weight loss. It's like the first 10 pounds, I was like, I've lost 10 pounds and you can't even tell. And then the next 10 pounds and the next 10 pounds. And then you're just like, is this even worth it? And I think that goes with a lot of goals. There's just sometimes the ones that are big and worth it just take a lot of time and a lot of effort. But I just have to remind everybody that you're worth the time. You're worth the effort. That time is going to pass anyway, whether we're patient through it or not. And May, whatever 2025 was going to get here, whether I'd hit 100 pounds or not. And I'm so, so glad that I didn't quit, because now I'm sitting here and I did do the goal. Whereas I could have quit and I wouldn't have done the goal. And either way, this day would have come, And so
Right.
I'm glad that I did it. And you got to remember that you're worth the time and the patience.
So when you look at a picture like current and one when you started, can you believe the difference yourself?
No. And I feel like I'm looking at a different person. Like it's like a different life. And I think since it did happen through such a vulnerable time, like season of motherhood, and your eyes just aren't, I feel like your eyes aren't fully open because you're just so tired and so much is going on. You're just fumbling through those first couple months anyways, because you're just so tired.
Right.
And I remember thinking, like, I don't even remember how I got there. It's like one day I was married and I was this size, and the next day I woke up and I had a 1-year-old and I was this size, and life was just so busy. I just don't even remember being there. But yeah, it's kind of surreal looking at the pictures, and there's a lot of times where I don't believe that I got to that point. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But
Right, because nobody ever sets out thinking, I want to see how much I can gain.
right.
It's like, I want to see how much I can gain, how much I can change and not wear anything, or be my old
Yeah.
self. Yeah, because you were the goalie on the soccer team, so you've
Mm-hmm.
always very active and everything too. So yeah, that had to make it. I think that also, I was going to say, it had to make it tougher, but it also probably made it easier for you to be more disciplined to do this and to stay with it because of your competitive nature.
Yes. I think my competitive nature definitely like fueled a lot of it. There were days that I had no motivation, but I had a lot of competitive drive of like, I just want to prove people wrong, or I want to make people proud, or, and you got to dig deep on those days. And I know that like that fire of like, I'm not going to quit. Like everyone thinks I'm going to quit and I'm not going to quit, that kind of like drove me some
Right.
days.
Well, and also you did it for yourself. And
Yes.
that's one thing that I think a lot of people miss out on so many things in life.
Yeah.
We do things because we do it for other people or is expected from us. But when you do it for yourself and that's the goal, and it's not to be selfish, it's just you have to take care of yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
so don't you think that played a big part also?
Oh, totally. Totally. And it's not selfish. Like you said, it's so easy to believe that, to think I'm being selfish because, and there were some comments along the way where I would say, I wish I was tucking my kids in to bed right now, but my husband's doing that so that I can go to the gym, because the only time I could go to the gym sometimes is 8 o'clock at night. And there would be people like, go tuck your kids in and stop being selfish. And it's like, I'm not being selfish. They have their dad, he can handle it. And I'm being the best mom I can be by being here. And by
And
gaining
you're gonna be
1
around.
hour.
Yeah, you'll be around and able to do things with them. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And what a lot of people don't realize is that like we homeschool our kids. I'm with my kids all the time. Like 24/7, I'm with my kids. Give me
Like,
my 1
I'm with
hour at the
them.
gym.
Yeah.
That's right. I promise I'll be a better wife and mom and homeschool teacher if you give me an hour at the gym.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. So what's probably one of the most rewarding comments that you've heard from someone in this journey? Someone that
Oh,
you didn't
man.
know, just someone that totally surprised you.
Um, it's a hard one, but I think like, of course you get the like, you look amazing, you look great comments from the outside, but I love the people who have followed me from the beginning and who saw me fight for it and who saw me like there was one girl who said, I remember seeing you so upset when I wasn't hitting my goals, when I was really struggling, when I was dealing with weight gain and, was about to give up. And, I even took like a 6-month break from TikTok because I was struggling so much with it. And there were people there when I got back. I was for sure thinking I was going to log back onto my account and nobody be there, but they weren't. They were there and they were just ready to cheer me on. And then when I hit my 100 pounds, there was a girl that was like, I remember watching all of it, and just to see you come back and fight was so inspiring. And I was just like, man, like sometimes I need to remind myself that like I did fight to get here, and I'm glad that it inspired other people that they can keep fighting too.
That's true. And people need that role model to look up to, because it's easy to give up. And fighting for what you want sometimes is the hardest thing. And sometimes it's the most lonely thing you can do, but
Yes.
it is definitely worth it. So
Yes.
what's the goal now? What are the plans?
Oh man, I don't, it's up in the air. I'm definitely like leaning into maintenance and maintaining this, but I also have lots of goals in the gym. So I think my goals are just transitioning from off of the scale and less about losing weight and more about fitness and wellness, and making sure that I am just like healthy all the way around. Got some blood work done today, looking at numbers and just making sure that I'm like the healthiest version of myself. And I'm excited to like continue to get stronger and more fit. And yeah, I mean, it's like the world is my oyster now.
That's right. Well, good. Because you can have such a good impact and positive impact on so many people. And like on your comments and stuff from people that have followed you, do you have any idea where these people are, like how diverse your group is?
So I looked one day, because I woke up one morning and I had a bunch of comments throughout the middle of the night. And I was like, why are these people up all night? And it was because they were all over the world. It was like lunch for them. And so there are people all over the world. And it is the neatest thing to have that ability to reach so many people. And the internet is really cool like that. So yeah, they're all over.
Well, that's good. So how have your children, like, do you get them out and have them doing little competitions with you or exercises?
Oh man, they are hilarious. They're just as competitive as I am. So we love being outside. We're about to be in our prime time of like some good weather in Kentucky. So we will definitely be outside. We like to race around the yard. We love to race around the yard. We make obstacle courses around the yard too. So like we'll set things out and you have to jump over this, you have to kick that ball in that goal, and you got to go around the trampoline twice. So we love making those obstacle courses, and it's just so fun to be able to like actually participate instead of just being a spectator. In my kids' childhood, I'm actually participating in it, and that's so rewarding. So definitely I have them. We always can find something to wear them out for sure. So they can sleep good at night.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a Ninja Warrior course in the backyard.
Yeah, I think we should get one.
That would be cool. Yeah. Get your mom out there, get her going.
Yeah, we'll see. My dad would be the really one we'd have to worry about. He'd be
Oh, he would do it because
he would not want to lose at all.
Yeah, he's like me. He still thinks he's 20 and can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, good. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to be on, because this has been fun to watch you, because Debbie and I've kept up with the journey. And of course, we've known you forever since,
Yes. I know. I don't think I can remember a time without Debbie and Rick. I don't think that
No.
I don't think there was a time before you. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And so, I mean, it goes back a long way, but to see you do this and to do so well with it, and then we, we're so proud of you and what you've accomplished, and just the way you've taken the social media aspect of it, made it positive, and like I said from the very beginning, how transparent you've been in this journey, because it's easy to post perfection and all the positive, but you shared the entire journey, and that's great. So we're going to put your information on the screen so that people who want to contact you or follow you on TikTok or Instagram can do so.
be
And so
great.
it's up now, and so that way you can get more followers, keep
There you
motivating
go.
people.
That's right. Thank you. I would appreciate that. Thanks. And thank you for having me. This has been great. And any time to chat would be awesome. So I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. So thank you for being with us. And that concludes our episode of Lux Life Discovered. We'll see you soon.
Check out Lux Life Discovered on Facebook and Instagram and on 30a.tv. See you next time on Lux Life Discovered.